Hello, my name is Bruce, and welcome to my darkroom. I've been a photographer for about 70 years. I'm close to 80 years old now, and this is my sixth darkroom that I've built in my lifetime, starting from the one I built when I was 10 years old under the stairs of my parents' basement, and quite a large darkroom that I built when I owned a custom lab here in New Jersey, and ending up with this one in Jersey City. It has everything I need, and I'll show you some of the more unusual features. The most common feature is a wet side and a dry side. Most darkrooms have that. And here on the left, you'll see a sink, and on the right, you'll see a counter with my enlargers. The sink being the wet, and the enlargers being the dry side. But let's start up here at this end. I have a little station for mixing my chemicals. I mix most of my own chemicals, especially developers. I still buy a few things, selenium toner, photo flow, things like that. But all the developers, hypoclearing agent, bleaches, that kind of thing, I make my own from these powdered chemicals. And I have a nice OHA scale for accurately weighing them out. So much for that. This device I consider invaluable in the darkroom. It's a electronic temping valve. So you just turn the knob to whatever temperature you want, and out comes water that's exactly at that temperature. Wish I had one in my shower, but it's great for here in the darkroom. And then various Jobo reels. Jobo processor is how I process all my 120 film. I don't shoot 35 millimeter anymore, but 120 film I really enjoy doing in the Jobo processor. I've had this one for probably 25 years. It's worked perfectly the whole time. Chemistry that I've mixed and kept, a D23 developer is my go-to developer. It's the only film developer I use. I use it at different dilutions, and it functions very differently. Each dilution has its own characteristics. Graduates for measuring, thermometers. This is an interesting setup here, which I use for my sheet film, mostly 4x5 now. But the trays which have the developer are in a water bath. I process everything at 75 degrees, paper and film. And I also have this night vision device, which enables me to develop film by inspection, but very accurately, because you can see perfectly under this infrared light. This safe light here on the wall shines down onto the developer tray, and it's filtered so that only infrared light escapes. You can see a tiny glow in total darkness, but not enough to affect the film. So sheet film I tend to do that way. And coming down the wet side, I have a viewer for film, and I have my slot processors. Now, I've used slot processors in place of trays for many years, but in previous darkrooms, the sink was shallow, like this area here, for trays. And that meant that these processors sat really high up, and it was very inconvenient. I had to build a step to actually stand above them, and stepping up and down constantly while you're printing was not fun. So this sink is very unusual in that it's extremely deep, and it enables the processors to sit at waist level, which is much more convenient. Now, the slot processors, they're extremely convenient to use because you're not pouring chemicals in and out all the time as you are in trays. They process the print vertically. I put a piece of paper here to show how it works. So it comes out of this and then into this slot and this slot and so forth. The slots are developer, and I use a version of Ansco 131 developer, which I make myself, and a water bath and a stop bath, and then 3 rapid fixers. So at 75 degrees and with my developer formulation, I develop for 1 minute, and then into the water bath for about 10 seconds, and into the stop bath for another 10 or 15 seconds, and then into fixer for 20 seconds each in these 3 slots. I use neutral fixer. I've stopped using acid fixer. So the manufacturer recommends 1 minute fixing time for prints, and that's very quick. It's very fast. Next comes 2 rinses in vertical print washers, which are very efficient and carry away 95% of the fixer in about a minute. And then they go into a holding tray, which is here. And that's a horizontal print washer that's very good for holding prints until I'm ready to tone them and possibly bleach them and do other treatments that they might need. And after refixing, they go into the VersaLab print washer. I've had many print washers, most of them made out of clear plexiglass, but I really like this VersaLab one. Almost all my prints are 11 by 14 in size. So that just about takes care of the wet side of the darkroom. And over here, we have a station where I load film holders. I shoot a lot of 4x5, and used to shoot a lot of 5x7. 8x10 has gotten so expensive. A single sheet of T-Max 100 film from Kodak is now $20. That's a lot of money. So I'm shooting very little 8x10 anymore. And the equipment's too heavy for an old guy like me to carry around anyway. Here's a plate burner that I got very cheap, and I use it to expose platinum prints, palladium prints. Works very well. I'm not doing too much of that anymore. Here's equipment storage. My 2 most used 120 size cameras, both from Rolleiflex. SL66 single lens reflex, and a twin lens reflex from the 1950s. So, over to the dry side. Here is a monster 8x10 enlarger from Durst L184 enlarger with a Pavel head. The color head was one of the cheapest ones available in the 1970s. But that box that's on the front of it has a probe inside, and it displays the exact color filtration that you've dialed in the front. So you have essentially a closed loop system, which works very well. Although since I stopped doing color printing, I only use it for black and white. And it's a beast. Omega digital timer. I love these timers. I have one connected to each of my enlargers. Besides the Durst, I have the Bessler 45 series enlargers. I have 2 of those. And each enlarger is hooked up to the Omega digital timer. I've tried split filter printing. I've had other timers, but I just have gravitated toward the simplicity of using filters. My multi-contrast filters are, I put them in these Koken filter holders, which are made for camera shooting, but I produce these filter holders, and so I can use it on my 4x5 enlarger and my 8x10 enlarger, the same filters. I generally am so careful about my exposure and development that I can print on number 2 paper nearly all the time. The very low contrast and very high contrast filters I hardly ever use. The other thing I'm kind of finicky about is alignment of my enlargers, so that the negative stage, the lens stage, and the paper stage are all in alignment and give me corner-to-corner sharpness. I get that through the use of this device, which is another device I consider almost invaluable. It's a laser device that enables you to get extremely perfect alignment of your 3 stages. And I have, for each of my enlarging lenses, I have a screw-in filter of optical glass that I can use to align the lens stage of my enlarger. And that's one of the reasons I have 2 enlargers. One, this one here, has an Apo Rotagon 80 or 90 millimeter for my 120 size negatives. And then this one is for 4x5 negatives. Because the only way to get the lens stage adjustable is to have a third-party lens board that's adjustable. And once you have it adjusted, you don't want to be swapping lenses in and out. So that's why I have 2 machines. And both of them have these color heads from Bessler. The very early ones, the DG, dichroic heads. And I like them because I don't use the filtration, because I'm just printing black and white. And they don't have any blowers built in, so there's no problem with vibration. They have a blower, external blower, and that's what this hose is hooked up to. So it draws in cool air to keep the negative completely cool. I used to use Bessler Minolta 45A heads, which I loved for color printing. They were so accurate and cool, no heat at all. But when I stopped printing color, I went with these because the evenness of the lens stage was very impressive. And also I like not having fans built in, because when they get old, they can introduce vibrations. Up here are 3 Thomas safe lights. They use sodium vapor bulbs, and so they're much brighter than normal safe lights, but they don't illuminate the entire room. So I found out to have even illumination throughout the whole room, I need 3 of them. So I have 3 of them mounted on the ceiling. Well, that's my 15-minute tour of my darkroom. Thanks a lot for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. My email address will appear below. Not everyone enjoys darkroom work, even with the resurgence in film photography. But for those who do, making pictures in the dark never gets old. Thanks again. Hope to hear from you. Bye-bye.